Hey everyone. Let's see. Oh snap, it is going live. All right. How's everyone doing? I am streaming on multiple platforms. This is great. This is my first time streaming on TikTok. I guess I'm a TikToker now, right? All right. So, for those who do not know me, my name is Ursula B. And I'm just a black girl trying to get my shift together. All right, this is going to be a really fun live. It is impromptu. So I want you all, if you have not already, I want you to click the notification bell because I'm going to be going live sporadically through July. And I'm going to tell you why in a moment. That way you can catch all the lives that I have going on. So, if you do not know, the reason why I'm so excited is because today is July. It's July 2nd. However, there is a bunch of excitement in the air for me because July, we're halfway through the year. We're halfway through the year. And a question I want to ask everyone is hey Gwen Lewis. Hey hey Slim Jim. So as I was saying, Slim, if you can hear and see me okay, can you put a one in the chat? Because it looks like my connection is poor on my end. So just let me know. All right. So for those who do not know, July is Minority Mental Health Awareness Month. And that's why I'm so excited, extremely excited, because some of you who do know or may not know, I am a mental health advocate professionally and personally. One and shared. Mwah. Thank you. Mwah. Thank you. Yes. So this is what I do. Mental health, especially in our community, that's my jam. I love talking about mental health in the community. It's changed my life. I also do recognize that there are a lot of taboos and stigmas that are attached to mental health in the Black community. And that's why I have a tremendous tribe around me where we also value mental health. Hey, people on TikTok. How are you? How are you? Make sure and share this live. Definitely. So, before we get into everything, let's talk about minority mental health. Well, let's talk about mental health first of all. Usually, mental health is celebrated in May, the awareness, but in early 2000s, minority mental health in July was created. I don't know if you all have heard of the author B.B. Campbell Moore. She is an author. And remember that craze way back in the day when a whole bunch of Black authors came on the scene and they're writing books like Elin Harris, Terry McMillan. Well, B.B. Campbell Moore was in that genre of authors. And if you do not know her, you may know her daughter. Her daughter is Maya Campbell. And if you don't know Maya Campbell, if you remember that show, yes, Maya's mom. Exactly. So Maya, she was on the show with LL Cool J. The name of the show escapes me right now, but she was the daughter. She was the beautiful sister that was on the show. That's Maya Campbell, and that's BB's daughter. So to say all of that, Maya, as some of you in the house, thank you. I knew you would know. You have a very keen brain, Slim Jim. And so Maya, I want to say to this day, she still is experiencing mental health, mental illness challenges. I think she was on Ilyana Fix My Life as well. My heart goes out to that sister because Debbie's daughter. Oh, yes, Debbie's daughter on the show. Exactly. Thank you for helping me. So she's gone through a lot, and like I said, I have a lot of compassion for her because if you've had mental illness, and especially if it's undiagnosed, It's a lot. It's a lot to deal with. So to say all of that, BB, she also passed away in the early 2000s, and I want to say she had brain cancer. But while she was still on this earth, she created NAMI. And for those who have not heard of NAMI, NAMI is the National Alliance of Mental Illness. And so she had created a chapter in Los Angeles, I believe. And so excuse me, with that. And actually in urban Los Angeles, because she wanted to come to where our community is. And she wanted to have some national change. She was a force multiplier in our community because she had such groundbreaking work on how we as Black people approach mental health, especially in the underserved communities. So the beautiful thing about BB is that she recognized and understood how detrimental all these taboos, especially being silent about the stigma that's attached to mental illness, depression. And that's some of the reasons why we, as a people in our community, we lack some of mental health treatment, because of the stigmas that's attached. And it'll be stigmas from the community as well as our own self-imposed stigmas. And I'm coming from a place of not judgment, but a place of I've experienced that. I've been that person before. I've had people in my family like that. No judgment towards them. It's just if you have been raised out of survival mode, and if you don't know, you don't know. And the beautiful part about it is that that lends us to have a compassionate and an empathetic ear voice to other people as well. So back to BB Campbell Moore. She helped create the National Minority Mental Health Awareness Month, which is in July. And so I love it because with her firsthand experience, and let's keep it real, a lot of us in our communities, we have families like this, or we're probably that person as well. But ultimately, we want to approach mental health awareness, especially minority mental health awareness, without shame, guilt, or judgment. So, like BB, I too am advocating for safe spaces of hope and healing where the unheard, which can be all of us, how we can find an inclusive space where we can share resources, where we can be supportive, and where we can have conversations about mental health in our communities without pointing the finger, without calling people crazy. We're such strong people anyway. Can you imagine if we all get on the same page on how much more powerful we can be? So BB, she had with one of her friends, that's where they decided to dedicate a month to this effort and the support. So that's what happened in November of 2006. She had lost her battle with cancer, but her friends and families, they continue to push and advocate for this National Awareness Month. So just know it does not have to stop with BB. It can start with us. This started in 2008. We can keep going. Who says that we have to stop? So let me check the comments. Let me see. Hey, Matt, how are you? So that's what's going on with July. So as some of you know, Black girls getting their shift together, we are rebranding over here. We're rebranding. We got a new website coming out. And I decided, I see the heart. I'm sending the love right back to you, Matt. What I decided to do was to dedicate 7 days of minority mental health awareness. I am going to disrupt this soil, as one of my coaches have said, and I'm going to speak on some topics that some of us do not want to talk about, but a lot of us in our communities, we will have issues, family issues, work issues with our kids, you name it, with our partners, and we tend to sweep issues under the rug. And you know what? For a while, when some of those issues almost like dust, you can't trip over dust, right? But then when you have generational cycles, that dust can turn into a little hill, a pile, and now we have mountains. And how can we cross over that mountain if we're still ignoring it? And what do? We trip over it. And unfortunately, and again, I'm not judging. I can speak from my own family. We've actually conditioned ourselves to be okay tripping over that mountain and just continue to ignore some issues, and big or small, and we just ignore it. But then you see how that cycle gets passed down to each generation, almost like a family heirloom. And sometimes we do things and we have no idea why we do it. And it's just already been ingrained in us. And here we are, 5, 4, 3 generations, and even some right above us, where we continue these toxic cycles and patterns. So we're going to get into that. But first, I want to tell you about what Black Girls Getting Their Shift Together is doing. What I'm going to do for I'll commit to the first 7 days. And I'll keep pushing through, but definitely for the first 7 days, I'm going to talk about certain, I won't say issues. We're going to have a calendar. Let's say it like that. So each day I'm going to dedicate. So Monday, let me get my notes because I want to make sure you get all of this goodness. Okay, so what we're going to do on Mondays, we're going to have motivational Mondays. All of this is to celebrate Minority Mental Health Awareness Month. TikTok, are you all still there in with me? Are you still there? I want you to throw up some hearts if you can hear and see me okay. Also, you all here that I'm looking at right now, make sure you share this video, because I have a lot of minority mental health awareness people who are intrigued by these topics. Share it so we can learn a little bit and have some resources. So on our Motivational Mondays, I love that name because it's going to kickstart the week with some positivity and some drive that pushes throughout the week, right? And so I almost see it as a burst of energy, and where we can shift our positive mindset on that Monday. So we're going to focus on inspiring. We'll talk about empowering individuals. This is a good way to set the tone for a productive and successful week. And also I'll have some actionable tips. You can have tips, but this is about action, motivation quotes, some success stories. But the ultimate goal is to provide the encouragement needed to tackle the week's challenges head on. If you would like to become a guest and share some of your stories on how you've had some motivation and how you overcame maybe some adversity, send me a DM, slip up in my DMs. Tuesday, which is what we're going to start with today. We're going to have Toxic Tuesdays. If you like this, after I say it, I want you to drop a 1 in the chat. So with the Toxic Tuesdays, we're going to address and overcome toxicity in relationships. So today we're actually going to talk about relationships with some of our toxic elder people that's in our families or in our lives. So we're going to discuss relationships and situations, why we do some of the things we do, why we say some of the things we say, how we react more often than responding. We're going to use this to focus on some toxic behaviors, talking about setting boundaries, and of course, to provide strategies for self-care and healing. And more importantly, it's all about empowering ourselves and detoxing our lives from negativity, but most importantly, to build healthy and supportive relationships. Wednesday is going to be Wellness Wednesday. So we'll talk about prioritizing our physical, mental, and emotional well-being. from a holistic scope, which that's part I absolutely love. And we'll talk about various aspects of well-being. We'll talk about mindfulness, nutrition, exercise, and mental health. And the aim is to provide practical advice and tips, actionable tips that help individuals help you maintain a balanced and healthy lifestyle, and to ensure that we take care of our mind, body, and our spirit. So, for those who are just jumping in, my name is Ursula B, and I'm the host of Black Girls Getting Their Shift Together. And today, this whole month is July, as we know. So, what I'm talking about are ways that I'm going to celebrate Minority Mental Health Awareness Month. And I really hope that you all can join me as well. So, make sure you hit that subscribe button. So, whenever I go live, I am going to go through this, definitely the first 7 days. And I want you all to make sure you subscribe, because I don't have a set time yet, but I definitely want you to get the notification. Okay, so Thursday is going to be Thriving Thursday, and we're going to talk about personal and professional growth. That day it will be all about a focus on personal improvement and professional success. We're going to offer tips and advice. Again, the actionable tips and advice on building confidence, learning new skills, and achieving goals. And it's all about providing tools and motivation that we need to thrive in all areas of our life, from career advancement to personal fulfillment. And Friday is Freedom Friday. That is all self-care focused. We're going to embrace our self-care, our self-love, and our personal freedom. Freedom Friday, you get it? So this day is about taking time for ourselves. No one else but ourselves. We're going to practice how to learn about practicing self-love and engaging in activities that promote relaxation and rejuvenation, because we know life be lifing out here sometimes, and we need to have tools. So much. I've been this person again. We go hard to the point we're almost like zombies, and we just go. We're in autopilot, right, TikTok? And we go and go and go, and before we know it, look, right now, half the year is gone already. Half the year is gone. So that's why Freedom Fridays will be focused on self-care, but for yourself. And this way we can learn to prioritize our mental health as well as our emotional health. And this is also a good day that we can disconnect from the hustle, the grind, and truly reconnect with oneself. And that way we can foster a sense of inner peace and happiness. And if I'm feeling like it, I may drop in on the weekends a calendar of topics. Absolutely. And so if I feel like it on a Saturday, I may pop in on a Saturday or a Sunday, but I can guarantee you that Monday through Friday for sure. So like I said, today, this is all about Toxic Tuesday. And I'm going to, let me share a quick story with you. So for those of you who do not know, I have a balcony garden. And so a couple weeks ago, I decided to go on my balcony because I wanted to garden, right? And so there's a pot that I have with some soil. And so part of my self-care, I just wanted to wind down, and I was so calm, and I was just going through I had a great Saturday that day. Played a lot of pickleball, good exercise. I said, I'm gonna just calm down this day and just garden, be in nature. Well, I started to cultivate and disrupt the soil because I wanted to put the fertilizer in it. And guess what? As I was disrupting the soil, for the first time in my entire life, I was stung by bees. And when I say they tore they tore it up. It did not feel good to disrupt that soil, because this was the result of it. It was uneasy for me. Everything was coming up. There's a bee's nest in there. But I didn't let it stop me. I shifted and I started thinking of ways, how can I get rid of this nest? But it wasn't going to stop me from my gardening. I mentioned that story is because some stories, some topics I'm going to bring up today, especially today, it's going to disrupt the soil. And it's probably not going to feel good to some people because who wants to get stung by bees? But I know once the bee's nest is gone, I'm going to have my garden back. So my point is, just because the soil is disrupted does not mean to stop whatsoever. It means to work through it and work through it, and because it's always better on the opposite side. Okay, so what we're going to talk about today is about, again, this Toxic Tuesday, and we're going to talk about toxic family members. You don't have to put in any names, but if you have a toxic family member, I would love for you to put a 1 in the chat. And if you feel like you want to share a story about a toxic family situation, we're all in this safe container right here. Go for it. You can put it in the chat. So as I was thinking over the weekend, I said, what kind of topic? What can I do? And guess what? This fell to me right on my lap. So I'm going to play this video. This is a reality show that comes on OWN. It's called Love and Marriage Huntsville. And it's a scene with a mother, an adult daughter and her mother. This is a perfect scene on how a toxic family member, how it can look like. I'm not dogging out the mom or the daughter or the show. This is just an example. I'm not taking sides on who does what. This is just an example. Okay. So let me play this. TikTok, you probably won't be able to see it. Actually, I know you won't be able to see it, but you'll definitely be able to hear it. So let me get this video started. And this is as loud as it can get, y'all. So just listen as best as you can.
I know what you're talking about.
What are you talking about?
When I didn't come up here. When you called me.
Yeah, I am. I called you devastated because I was finna have to go turn myself into jail. I wanted you to be here.
But you know why I wasn't?
Yeah, you told me because that's what I get for being on a reality TV show.
Not so much in those words, but pretty
That's
much.
what you said.
That's what came along with something that was going on. You called me about what? It was late. I can't just hop up out of the bed in the middle of the night anymore.
That wouldn't come to get me a night. I had to turn myself in the next day.
The next
I found
day,
out at night.
Right.
Miss Shelby ended up coming. She came and you didn't.
Well, Miss Shelby here is in Alabama, right here.
She is.
Miss Shelby don't have her mother living with her, 80-year-old mother.
But why did that mean that's what you get for being on a reality TV show? It hurt me so bad. Why we still always got to end up here? Me and you.
We don't have to.
Exactly.
It's just the way you take things.
My mom is really coming at me with like this hard exterior, this hard stance right now, but it's important for me to let her know that I need her. Like, I need the softness of a mother. I need the warmth. I need the care. I need the vulnerability. And somehow she has truly never been able to give me that.
I'm not gonna let stuff just ride. That ain't in me, period. I'm never gonna say I'm sorry because that's something I don't do. I'm not gonna do it.
So my mom is truly one of them people, like, her belief is if I meant it when I did it, then there's nothing to apologize for.
You don't listen. We have to teach you tough love. You're one of those people, you got to learn the hard way.
I'm asking for you to express to me why you felt like that was a moment where you should have offered tough love.
Because, you know, this isn't the first time it happened, right?
What?
Jail.
I went to jail when I was 18.
Right.
My mama bringing up my arrest is just baffling to me because it don't even correlate to this experience. So why bring it up? Either explain to me why you felt like I needed to learn a hard lesson, or else just simply apologize and let us move on. Girl, I didn't do nothing to put me in jail.
Right.
Stop
but
playing.
there's certain people that you can have in your circle. Certain people you shouldn't be fooling with. The thing is, when you called me, I was mad. I was upset. My thing was, if you had listened to us, none of this would have happened. Because you wouldn't have been in the public eye. You wouldn't have been in the eye of these people who have this certain person they want to elevate and bring down everybody else. A certain number of this circle have people who are called to activate. And I'm going to use that word because that's the word that's used to attack anybody. When I go on and I attack this person, right?
You keep saying this person. Who is the person?
I'll call her name.
Say it, because you confuse me.
Whenever I say something bad about Mel, I'm being attacked by her people.
But then on her side, it's, well, I can't control people.
You can let a person know where you stand. You stand with the demonic stuff that they're doing, then don't say anything. If it's something that you don't agree with, you know what? You're supposed to voice your disagreement. Now, that's something Mel hasn't done. She hasn't voiced her disagreement about these people tearing you down. Oh, let's boycott her business. Let's call retailers. Let's do this. Let's do that. Melody don't care what happened to anyone, just so long as she continues to shine.
It's not the reality TV part that gets her, right? My mama has always been firm in me being connected to Mel. I'm getting the I told you so moment. I told your ass that girl didn't mean you no good. And now you're getting to see exactly what I meant. So go stand in. And it hurt me because I'm like, I hear you, but I'm still standing in it. I don't understand your logic. What I hear you saying is, I told you, you didn't listen. Now, sit in it. This was the end result of not listening. I received it. But whether you feel like that was a learning moment or not for me, I still wanted the support, that motherly support, that family support.
Sometimes we always get what we want.
Wow. You are dead set on just not being receptive to the fact that you hurt my feelings. I'm feeling like I need to learn a tough lesson. I feel like it made us do like this. And it took me back to like times where I kind of felt like you and I ain't always been like this. You know what I'm saying? That ain't the first time I feel like you ain't show up for me. You joked on me in my wedding day. Told me you gonna be late and you ended up being late.
I wasn't late.
You were late.
I was late, but we went late. I wasn't late.
I walked out. You were late.
We were doing makeup.
You were doing makeup. We were done. You were late. What I'm saying is, can we agree that we gonna together stronger?
We are.
Don't teach me no hard lessons like that. Call when I call, please. Make me feel like a priority.
You are a priority.
Especially when I'm crying and I saying I need you.
I'm gonna always have your back. You're my one and only. But just know, as my father used to say, sometimes you got to let your butt drag the ground to teach you something.
What?
Yeah, that's what he would say. Sometimes your butt got to scrub the ground.
All right.
Before you learn something.
Okay. Just say I'm sorry.
You know I don't say I'm sorry.
Oh my God! Like
You know
this is the time for an apology.
Stormy, I'm so.
Mom, apologize and move on.
I really hate that happened. I'm sorry, Dave.
That's all I wanted. Like, that's all I wanted. I didn't want anything else. That's it.
Okay, but you just made me not do me.
That's all I wanted. The best part of the day for me is that I was really able to have this intimate and vulnerable conversation with my mother without it going left. And with us kind of, moving on a path that we've truly never been on before. And that does feel really good. It has just.
All right. So let me read some of these comments. So we have toxic relatives. My fam. Oh, your family aren't toxic. That's how I rebrand. Okay. Hey, Sheena. Happy belated birthday. We're almost birthday twins. All right. So what do you all think about that exchange in that video? Again, this isn't even a review of the show. This is more of an example of how generational cycles, toxic generational cycles, how they can pass on from one generation to another. All right. So let me know what your thoughts are on that. It was sad watching this video because I heard so many things from the mom and from the daughter as well. This is a tough topic, but we have to admit that sometimes toxic older people can pass down this generational trauma. And this whole scene says it's a window of how it can look. And if you aren't self-aware or try to look beyond just the surface, it says so much. So again, this isn't a dump on anyone, but it's just more to bring awareness and how generational cycles in families can look. So when I watched this video, of course, you see it's the mom who at first did not want to apologize. And you see all the hoops that she had to go through just for her daughter to ask her to apologize because her daughter was arrested, if you didn't hear it. And she called her mom crying, and her mom was very cold and callous on the other line. So when I listened to the video, I heard, and let me know if you've experienced this in your family, whether if you experienced it or if you've watched it being experienced with someone else. Her mom, she said this. Now, I'm not interpreting this. Her exact words. Oh, I'm in one of the videos. I'm never going to say I'm sorry. That's something I'm not going to do. She made excuses as to why she couldn't come to her daughter when her daughter was in jail, or even be of comfort. Her daughter saying that she was very upset, scared. I witnessed gaslighting. She's lying to her daughter something about the makeup, and she just said it in her face. Oh, I wasn't late. Yeah, well, yeah, I was late. So now we're lying, and she just wouldn't listen. And she told her daughter that she had to teach her tough love. I think that's, you know what? Let me write that down. That's another topic I want to talk about. How, let me write that down. How in our community we just, some of us, some families, we feel that tough love is the be all and end all to raise children. All right. She also mentioned about the daughter going to jail 18 when she was 18 years old. So I took it upon myself to look up Stormy and see her age. The daughter is 35 years old. When she went to jail the first time, she was 18 years old. So she's pretty much lived twice. But her mom still brought that up as shame, guilt, and judgment of something that she did 18 years ago. I also heard deflection. She's talking about another cast member that's on the show, and she's telling her daughter about this person, the cast member, tearing her down. But the mom is doing the same thing to her daughter. She's also tearing her down. She was extremely dismissive to her. And when the mom finally apologized, she said, you made me not do me. Meaning, because when the mom apologized and she said it, oh, I don't apologize. You made me not do me. Who comes out of the womb being so hard, callous, cold, and dismissive, and refusing to apologize, no vulnerability? We do not come out the womb that way. So things had to have happened. I'm not saying what, because I don't know, but that people just don't become that way just because they're born that way, right? And this is what it looks like when some people do not shift their mindset. Let me repeat this again real slow, because it took me a minute to figure this out, because again, I've been this person. Some people do not shift their mindset because they are so committed to being stuck. Some people do not shift their mindset because they are so committed to being stuck. I'm going to give you a quick story. When I started therapy first time, and I definitely was stuck. And I'll admit, I was so committed to it, but I didn't even know that I was committed, right? And so I remember telling my therapist initially that I felt like there's a speed bump. You know, if you're going real slow with your car and you try to go over the speed bump, but you don't have enough gas to get over that little speed bump. And remember, I'm not talking about hills or mountains. This is a speed bump. And that emotional speed bump had me stuck. So can you imagine what I talked about earlier about how we as people, sometimes some of us can sweep family issues under the rug. And of course, then we cannot get over these mountains and we just stay stuck. And then unfortunately, some of us will go to the grave being stuck. Let me go to the comments. Let me see what's going on here. Hey, boo boo. Yeah, that was super toxic. Absolutely. Absolutely. Norv. It was very toxic to watch. So that's what I saw watching this scene. So this is also a painful reminder on how deeply entrenched that generational trauma can look like, and how it can be, and how it can affect us on an emotional level. And then some of us, we may even have kids, and some of us wonder, why are they acting a certain kind of way? But because we're so committed to being stuck, we can't even see that they get those same qualities from us. Yeah. So let's talk about the emotional impact on how this can look. So when we have someone that we love, we have a parent, aunt, uncle, grandparent, whoever, and they refuse to apologize for causing us pain. They refuse to acknowledge how they're being dismissive. Sometimes it cuts and we don't realize how deep that cut is. And sometimes it can be so deep. TikTok, I didn't forget about you. I see somebody on here. Exactly. Right. And sometimes it can cut so deep that it can affect us on a subconscious level, and we have no idea that it has affected us like that. And a good way to, if you wonder how that looks, you think about somebody who goes off all the time. If they're very easy to activate, they stay trigger ready to go off. That's parts of them that subconscious. There is definitely some emotional hurt, and this is some ways on how it can impact us. And when it does, sometimes we can feel unseen, unheard. We can feel unworthy, especially of love, and definitely of respect. That used to be one of my big things. Oh no, they're going to respect me. Yeah. But now I can also go back and look back on my childhood formative years. I'm like, okay, well, this makes sense. But this can definitely leave some lasting scars, and it can make us question our value and our ability to trust others. You think about it, the person who's supposed to protect us the most will be the person that hurts us the most. So why wouldn't people talk about, oh, I don't trust anyone. Oh no, no new friends. This is how it, one way, one facet of how it can look. And these will be people who have dismissed us and invalidated us. But again, there are our caretakers. So just know that the pain can be real, and it definitely deserves to be acknowledged. And what do you all think? Sometimes when we feel like we have gone unheard, we do things to be seen, and it can be in a negative or a positive way. So it also can cause some heavy burdens on us with this unspoken generational trauma, these cycles, and we can. This is real right here. My light went off. We're gonna still roll with it. Let me know if you all have thought of this saying I'm about to say, or maybe you're living it now, that we grow up to believe that we must respect our elders no matter what. No matter what, because they're our elders. We have to give them their flowers while they're alive. Um, do as they say, not as they do. When we were children, children should be seen and not heard. Uh, wait, let me go because the chat. Oh, this is good. Thanks, Shayna. Thanks. Yeah, so this is how it can look, right? However, sometimes we also are committed to, I'm not saying disrespect. Hear me closely. I'm not saying disrespect our elders, but I will say that we've been committed to respecting some of our elders, even when they create real deep emotional pain to us, or their actions hurt us. Well, don't say anything, because that's, you know how Madea is. Don't say anything. You know how your uncle is. Well, you know that's how your cousin is. You know that's how your brother is. Meanwhile, you're just being you're being destroyed internally, emotionally. And can you see how that internal conflict can lead us to having feelings of guilt, shame, especially confusion? You want to be respected, meanwhile your caretaker or family member is disrespecting you. But we're taught to not say anything, because remember, we should be seen and not heard. And let's keep it real. Some of y'all that are listening to me now are probably parents who've taught your children the same thing. I'm just a messenger. Remember, this is a container of safe and no judgment or guilt or shame. But we are going to keep it real, because today, with Black girls getting their shit together, today is Toxic Tuesday. That's what we're talking about. And you think about it, it's like being in a spider web, with it being weaved with emotional and verbal and mental, physical abuse, but then it's sprinkled also with love and pain, and they're all intertwined together. That is confusing. And then now, this keep it real. And then when we're in relationships, we don't even know when we're in a toxic relationship with our own partner. And when I say relationship, I'm talking about a romantic relationship, and that can breed abusers, narcissistic partners. It's confusing, and this is how it looks. So we ask, Ursula, how do I navigate in this world where the people who were supposed to protect me are the ones that are causing me the most harm? That's something to think. That's some real stuff right there. So some of us, sometimes from some of our caretakers, we look for a validation, and we have such a struggle. You can see this in the video with Stormy and her mom. She's looking for her mother to validate her feelings, and her mother committed to not validate her feelings. And it can feel like this is endless. It can feel like an endless heartbreak of struggle. When your feelings are being dismissed, definitely belittled, and it can lead to such profound isolation. And with that isolation, now that I think about it, it almost can make you doubt your reality, and subconsciously it can make you question your own worth, your own self-worth. So it's important to recognize that your feelings are valid and that you deserve to be heard and respected, no matter what, no matter who, listen to me now, no matter the age. That can include your grandmother, auntie, uncle, cousin. That it is what it is. And you think about it, it took me until about 6-7 years ago that it dawned on me that even at my whole grown age, that I was still navigating with my parents and still had that childlike mindset, not being immature, but being emotionally immature, because I too was raised that you don't say anything to your elders, no matter what they say. And I'll tell you right now, I grew up hearing some wild stuff, okay? But I thought about it one day. I'm like, wait a minute. Not even I have some really close girlfriends. I said, my friends who, they don't even talk to me like that. They talk to me with the utmost respect. They really do. So let's read some of the comments. So Keisha said, hey, Keisha. She says she's learned to leave when it gets disrespectful, regardless of how we are associated with one another. Bye. Bye. I like that. Keisha, what do you mean, regardless of how we are associated with one another? What do you mean by that? So while we wait on her response, let's see. So let's go back to what we saw with Stormy, with her mom dismissing the daughter, Stormy dismissing her needs about this apology, you can see Stormy's inner child screaming for her mother's love and acknowledgement. And all she wanted was an apology from her mom. And apologies can be extremely powerful because it's more than just words. It's acknowledgement of the pain that you have suffered through. But it can also be a step towards healing. So when Stormy's mom refused to apologize, the way I saw it, it sent a message to Stormy that her feelings, it didn't matter. It just didn't matter. And you see how this can look sometimes when you're in romantic relationships, how you just sometimes we tend to just take negative toxic situations because it's been ingrained in us from a child that our feelings don't matter. And this is why the self-work is so important, because sometimes and I learned this in my group therapy with Sarita Yvonne, and then with my individual one-on-one therapist as well, that we navigate a lot in a subconscious level, and we have no idea on how some of these scars present itself right now, even at our adult age. And we don't see that it's I'm just a messenger, that a lot of our parents, our elders, they are extremely emotionally immature. And I'm speaking from personal experience, okay? So just know that this kind of rejection, it can be devastating. But also remember, and this is key. It took me decades to realize this, that you don't need to have someone's apology to start your healing journey. You do not. You can acknowledge your own pain, and that can be the first step. And just know that waiting on apologies or for someone to change will also keep us stuck. Remember, I talked about that emotional speed bump that I couldn't get over because I was waiting on a family member to apologize for some of the things that they have said and done for so long. And it kept me in a holding pattern. And guess what? On a subconscious level, I did not realize that I was stuck. And being in that stuck mode, it also kept me in a mindset of victimhood, and it kept me in a victim mindset because I'm feeling sorry for myself and woe is me and why can't they change? And then think about it. This is how it can look in relationships on the subconscious level. Sometimes we want our partner to change because we're waiting, even if we're not waiting for an apology, they can have some toxic behaviors. And I'm not talking about things that you can get over. I'm talking about some really toxic behaviors, but it keeps us stuck because we're waiting for them. We're waiting for their behaviors to change. And meanwhile, you're purchasing homes, creating children, and your partner has not changed. They are committed to not changing. I'm just saying. So, just know we do not have to. And I hope, look, someone send this video to Stormy. Stormy, anyone else, you do not have to wait on someone's apology or for them to change for you to start your own healing. And I'm speaking to myself too. We can validate our own selves. Okay. So let's talk about breaking the cycle of generational trauma, because remember, today is Toxic Tuesday. Look, can you imagine what next week's Toxic Tuesday is going to be like? And if you all have topics for Toxic Tuesday, send it to me in my DMs. So breaking the cycle of generational trauma, it can be tough. I promise you, it's not for the weak. I promise you, but it's essential for our well-being. It makes us face the painful truths, that a truth that we can have emotionally immature elders, and setting boundaries with those who may never understand or respect them. Sometimes that's what you got to do. And it's so funny because sometimes some people, and including myself, we were brought up that if we are holding boundaries, The toxic elder person will look at that as being disrespect, especially in the Black community. If you agree with me, drop a one in the chat. If you've been told that you're being disrespectful when you're just holding a boundary, put a one in the chat. But guess what? When you know and have that mindset that you're not being disrespectful, you are being human and you are setting human boundaries, it can be so liberating. It just is. It's a whole nother, it's like the cloth that come off of your eyes. You see and hear things totally different. And can you just imagine that freedom of not carrying all that emotional weight of other people's toxic behaviors? Just know that you have the power to start this journey and you can break free from the past. You definitely can. So let's break these chains together. Okay. So here are some practical steps on how you can begin your healing. And when I say your healing, meaning your healing, you don't need anyone else to do it for you. This starts from within. Let me get in this chat first. Oh, okay. So let me read some of the. Hey, Hennessy. I love that name, Hennessy the Black Rose. Oh, so Keisha, you meant kinship. Oh, family. Okay, family. Jackie. Yes, Jackie. I want you to. Jackie is my sister in mental health advocacy. I want you to check out her show as well, Mission for Mental Health. We've been on each other's shows. Before I go into it, this is what I'm talking about, community right here. And I'll put the video of Jackie and I on both of our shows in the show description in a couple of days. But this is how I'm talking about with Minority Mental Health Awareness Month. That's how Jackie and I became acquainted with each other, and it was through mental health advocacy. And I love it. I love it. Her mission, she's on one. She thought she was going to be a comedian. She could be, because I've seen her. But you know what? We've created a community, and from that community, this is how it looks. We're sharing resources. We're being transparent. And this is what the healing looks like. So this could be the first answer to practical tips. Find your community. Find your tribe. Jackie, thanks so much for tuning in. Hey, Hennessy the Black Rose. She's given 100. I don't know what that meant, but yes, I'm agreeing with you as well. Queen. Thank you, babe. She said, hello, beautiful people. So let's see. Jackie said, sometimes you will be waiting on an apology that's never going to happen. That's what I'm talking about. Sometimes you will. And unfortunately, can you just imagine leaving this earth, living to an old age, and you take your last breath and you're still waiting on someone to apologize. You're still waiting on the wrong to be righted. You're waiting. Now you're 80, 90, 70, 100 something years old. Can you see all that life that's gone? A life of a thriving life gone. Waiting on somebody else to validate your feelings. I agree with you. Hennessy the Black Rose said self-awareness, self-forgiveness, the only closure you need, in my opinion. Thank you for that. Let me write that down. I'm going to do self-forgiveness as a topic. Thank you, Black Hennessy. Okay. Let's see. She said, thank you for your transparency. Yes. Yeah, you can choose to be transparent. Or you can, again, be committed to be that strong Black woman that nothing bothers you whatsoever. And you're perfect. You're still. You don't cry. You got it together. But then let us be in that shower and we crying our butts off. Been there. Yes, babe, you have to be the change. You have to be the change. Okay, so Ursula, how do we do some of these practical steps to begin our healing? I already said one with Jackie with mental health, Mission for Mental Health. Find your tribe. You can be transparent. As a matter of fact, I am having a self-care. I have a self-care workshop that's coming up. It will be virtual. So everyone is invited. It's going to be a safe container, judgment free. And we're going to talk about some of our self love, self healing, and just the beginning steps of it. No judgment. Some of us don't even know what self care looks like because we pour so much into other people. We have no idea what it looks like for our own self. It's almost like being in church and we're sitting in the pews and we going, get it, pastor, go. You know, we're preaching and listen to the word and we're going for it. And we're in the pews, but let us go up to the front of the pulpit and now we're crickets. Like we don't, I get it. I've been that person. I wouldn't even know how to do it for myself, but I can be in the pew cheering someone else along. So when that link comes out, that's why I want you all to subscribe to this channel, share it, and share it with some other beautiful sisters that you know who also want to celebrate self-love, cultivate that self-care during July Minority Mental Health Awareness Month. So, number 2, we can acknowledge the pain that we have. Stormy did that. She told her mom that her feelings were hurt. She was not meeting her mother's energy. Her mom was cold, brick wall. And Stormy didn't do that, at least in this scene. So just know that your feelings are valid. You don't need anybody else to validate. It would be nice. I ain't gonna lie. It would be nice to have someone validate how you've been feeling, but just know that that's not the key to healing and growth. And just know that the pain is real. Let me know. Drop a 1 in the chat or drop a 1 in the chat if you've said, oh, I'm all right. No, put I'm good. If you've been that person when someone asks how are you? Oh, I'm good. But you know, deep down inside, like you're not good for whatever the reason is. Put I'm good in the chat. You too, TikTok. Put I'm good in the chat. The pain can be real, but don't let anybody else tell you otherwise. Okay. I remember I was telling somebody I know this was a few years ago, something that was going on. And I started to weep because it was really hurting me. And she told me, she said, don't cry. Don't cry. She meant well, but this is what it talks about by not acknowledging the pain. Now, if it was Ursula back in the day, I have done this, I would suck up the tears. I'm good. It doesn't hurt me, whatever the situation is. But meanwhile, I'm acting out. And those who know me, they know how it looks or how it used to look. Let me say that. Also know another tip, actionable tip, is to seek professional help and know that therapy can be a lifeline. It provides a safe space to explore your trauma and develop coping strategies. Therapy isn't always about traumatic, even though I did mention trauma, but it can also, like I said, develop coping strategies. Some people, I've been that person. Some people don't even know how to effectively communicate. It's easier for us to have violent communication, and just know that violent communication isn't always popping off. It can be silent as well. TikTok, my time has ran out, so I'm going to say goodbye to you all. Thanks for joining me. Okay. So also, it's okay. And with this being, this is why I love July being Minority Mental Health Awareness Month, because I'm going to drop so many resources. I don't need this anymore for TikTok. I'm going to drop so many resources. Maybe you need a coach. Maybe you need a therapist. Maybe you're looking for group therapy. Maybe you're looking for a walking group where you can just walk and enjoy nature. I'm going to supply all of that. And I'm also going to have events here in Georgia where we can do that. So I want you all to join me for that. Those will be in person. Setting boundaries. Protect your emotional space, people. Drop in the chat, protect. Protect your emotional space. You do this by setting clear boundaries with toxic family members. And it's okay to protect and prioritize your well-being. You think about it, we've been that person again. Like I said, I'm speaking from experience. It was easier to protect somebody else's toxic behavior than to prioritize my own well-being. And that's been at work. That's been in romantic relationships. It's been with familiar relationships. Let me go to the chat before I go to the last two. Jackie said, yes, ma'am. That's right. July 6th. Oh, it's our anniversary. Almost our anniversary. Yep, she said, I'm good. So, okay. You also want to build a support network. Support yourself with, or surround yourself with people who can validate and support you. When I say validate, not saying validate to validate, meaning they show support. Especially Black women, we don't have to do this all alone. We just don't. We've been given, some of us been given the blueprint that you can go through it alone. And at times back and with our ancestors, we at times had to do it alone. And I'm talking about ancestors like back in slave days. Sometimes we had to because it was survival. And to keep it real, some of our elders have raised us in survival mode. But we do not have to continue that burden. We just don't. Also, you can practice self-compassion. You can be kind to yourself. That's part of a healing journey, and that it's okay to take it one step at a time. One of my dear friends, she's told me several times, Ursula, take it in bite-sized pieces. And that's what it looks like. So if you felt the sting of a toxic family member and the weight of generational trauma, this is July. I urge you to take your mental health seriously. And when I say take it seriously, I'm not talking about, you know what, I'm going to do XYZ, 1, 2, 3. No, make an actionable step, an actionable plan, something that you can measure. That makes sense. Because if you say, oh, yeah, I'm going to prioritize my mental health, that's like saying, okay, well, I'm in Louisiana and I'm going to drive to California. You do not have a map. You just say you're going to do it. And then if you just get in your car and just drive, you're trying to get to California, you end up in New York. Get a plan set together. Get your GPS so you know how it's going to look. So just say, I'm going to do my self-care is going to be this, this, this. And I want to do it on Monday, Tuesday, or I want to do it the first week of July. This way you can go to your second week of July and you can say, ooh, I did not do what I said I was going to do. Or I'm going to celebrate because I did do what I said I was going to do. Make it actionable. Anything else is just fluff and surface. It is what it is, okay? Because you deserve peace. You deserve love. And more importantly, you deserve respect. So it's okay. Reach out for help. Reach out to your tribe. Surround yourself around people who uplift you. And know that healing is possible, but it starts with you. It starts from within. And keep an open mind and that be willing to confront some of these painful parts of our past, present. Your future self will thank you. If you're listening to me now, put future in the chat. So let's commit to breaking the cycles of all this toxic generational traumas. Let's break that cycle. Let's break these chains. Just know that your mental health matters and that you have the power to change your story, not because Big Mama told you or Madeira or grandma, uncle, whoever. No, because you decide to change your story and you can start today. And if you do not know how to start, tune in with me in July, all this July. I will help you. That's what we're all Black girls getting our shift together. Okay. And do it for yourself and then do it for the people that are coming up under you. Okay. So I want to thank you all for being here. Oh, well, let me see who else is in the chat before I finish. Who is this? Okay, good. So, I want to thank you all for being here and being open and your comments in the chat and having this very important conversation on Toxic Tuesday. But remember, you're not alone in this journey, and it's okay to seek help and prioritize yourself. Tune in tomorrow for Wellness Wednesday. We're going to talk about a mental health check-in, and we'll talk about the importance of assessing and improving your mental well-being. And these are also different ways on how we can continue ways to explore our own minority mental health and celebrate this awareness month. So take care of yourself. Definitely continue to get your shift together. All right, y'all. I'll see you tomorrow for Wellness Wednesday.